Northern California, 1960s. A ruthless series of murders committed by an unknown, unnamed spectre, terrorizing the once peaceful neighborhoods of the Golden State, striking fear in anyone unfortunate enough to meet him. Dive into the suspects and their lives leading up to the rampage led on by a man known only as the Zodiac. Arthur Lee Allen. Probably the most wanted man for the Zodiac case. He was almost universally hated as the authorities tried ruthlessly to pin the Zodiac murders on him, and the general public sought vengeance after his pedophilic tendencies. The whole world had something against him, and yet almost no direct evidence was ever found.
Arthur Lee Allen was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, on December 18, 1933. From the outside looking in, he was nothing more than a normal human. He moved to Vallejo, California at a young age, attended elementary school, graduated high school, then moved to Vallejo College, where he earned his Associate's degree of Arts in 1957.
After college, Allen went on to join the Navy, where no more than a year later, in 1958, he was less than honorably discharged for an undisclosed reason. Sometime after the Navy, Allen moved to 32 Fresno Street, Vallejo, where he soon began teaching at various elementary schools in the area, including Santa Rosa Elementary School, Travis Elementary School, and Valley Springs Elementary School. He then began his job as a janitor at Cave Elementary School.
During his employment at Cave, Allen took 19 sick days, one of which was spent in Riverside, California in 1966, 2 days after Sherry Jo Bates was murdered. Bates was the first known victim of the Zodiac's rampage.
Sometime between 1966 and 1967, Allen became well acquainted with Darlene Ferrin, another victim that worked as a waitress at a restaurant frequented by Allen. Later in 1967, Allen received a Zodiac watch with the well-known crosshairs so easily associated with the Zodiac killer. In 1969, events took a turn for the worse. On July 4th, Mike Mageau and Darlene Ferrin drove out to Blue Rock Springs Park as a normal 4th of July date, only to end with a man in a brown Corvair parking behind them, exiting the vehicle, and shooting both of them, killing Darlene and severely injuring Mageau.
The Corvair was later thought to be owned by Phil Tucker, an acquaintance of Arthur Lee Allen. Phil stated that during the time of the murders, the Corvair was parked at a service station in efforts to sell it. The keys to the car were left inside the station, and the only people with access were employees. Arthur Lee Allen was working at this very station as an attendant and would have access to the keys at any given time.
Months later, on September 27th, another couple were out having a picnic near Lake Berryessa. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were approached by a man bearing a medieval executioner's hood and flaunting a gun. He told them he intended to rob them, then tied them up. It was at this point where he revealed a large knife and began to stab both victims. Cecilia died in the hospital days later, and Brian survived. When questioned, Brian Hartnell pinged Arthur Lee Allen as having a similar voice and body type as the suspected Zodiac, who later claimed the attack. Arthur Lee Allen was later questioned by investigator John Lynch about his whereabouts, to which Allen claimed the day before the Lake Berryessa attack, he had been freediving at Salt Point Ranch, stayed the night, then returned home the afternoon of the 27th, but no one was able to confirm nor deny this alibi.
On September 6, 1970, Donna Lass was murdered at Lake Tahoe. Nearly a year later, on August 4, 1971, Allen was brought in for questioning, where he explained that his favorite book was a story he read as a child, titled The Most Dangerous Game. The story revealed in a Zodiac letter to be his favorite as well. In 1974, Arthur Lee Allen was finally arrested. However, not for the murders. He was found guilty of child molestation and was sentenced to life in a state hospital. In 1977, he was released on the terms of good behavior. After his incarceration, Arthur allegedly showed Phil Tucker and his wife a gray box containing various artifacts from his time in the hospital. Among said artifacts were ciphers and letters bearing the mark of the Zodiac.
In 1991, a police informant by the name of Ralph Spinelli came forward claiming that Arthur had confessed to being the Zodiac, even stating specific details about the murders. After Ralph's statement, police finally got a warrant to search Arthur's home. They found bomb fragments including non-electric blasting caps, a galvanized pipe with one end cap, 5 bottles of potassium nitrate, and 2 bottles of sulfur, all parts specific to a bomb mentioned by Zodiac himself. Despite being a known felon, no charges were placed on Arthur.
In 1992, Mike Mageau, the survivor of the Blue Rock Spring Park attack, was asked to pick the Zodiac out of a police lineup. He picked Arthur right away. Later that year, Arthur Lee Allen died of a heart attack in his home on August 26th.
In 2001, a good friend of Arthur, Don Chaney, came forward, claiming that Arthur was in fact the Zodiac. Chaney went to the extreme, mentioning Arthur telling him that he would try to kidnap women on the side of the road by tampering with their cars, and how he would taunt police with letters signed with the Zodiac symbol. Many believe Chaney's claims to be too far-fetched, and some even believe that Chaney was attempting to frame Arthur as a sort of revenge. During a camping trip, Arthur allegedly molested his daughters. The evidence against Arthur, though lengthy, seemed to be too circumstantial and held no actual weight. At the end of the day, Arthur Lee Allen was never found guilty for any crimes related to the Zodiac, and he died a free man.